Good Friday. As you can tell here in New Canaan, Connecticut, we're having something of a Good Friday day. I'm Father Peter, and this is St. Mark's Church. You can see here St. Mark's Gospel quoted on our front doors here. Today, Good Friday, St. Mark lays out very clearly what he believes happens. Now, for those who are in Jerusalem today, they will know that it is believed that Jesus spent the last night of his life down in a hole, which is in Caiaphas' house, and he is pulled up at 6 a.m. in the morning and brought to the civil authorities, where he appears before Pilate. Pilate was staying in the Praetorium, which is essentially a fort up next to the Temple Mount, and there Jesus is brought before him, and he has to contend with what to do with him, as the religious authorities have brought him there. And as you know, with the crowd gathered in the courtyard, Pilate eventually sits down on the judgment seat and brings judgment that Jesus is to die, letting Barabbas go free. We know then that Jesus is beaten and stripped and with the crown of thorns, and is led on to go to his walk, what is known as the Via Dolorosa, right? The way of the cross. And for those in Jerusalem today, an incredible day as hundreds of thousands of pilgrims pour through the streets to review the stations of the cross and to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Mark's Gospel tells us that Jesus was crucified at 9, and at noon darkness fell over the whole land, and by 3 o'clock Jesus had died. And that Joseph of Arimathea, who was a member of the Sanhedrin, went to Pilate and said, "Please, may I have his body?" And after Pilate was assured that Jesus was dead, Joseph was given the body. You see those beautiful, beautiful artwork of Jesus being taken off the cross. He is brought to a grave which was owned by Joseph of Arimathea, and put in the grave, wrapped hastily, because the time was coming for the Sabbath, and everybody needed to be home before sundown. Here at St. Mark's today, I want you to know that the Good Friday liturgy will begin at noon, and then there will be a more contemplative one at 7:30. And as part of this liturgy, we will pray the solemn collects, most beautiful, beautiful prayers of the Church before the cross of Christ. We will hear a beautiful sermon. We will have the Passion narrative read from the Gospel according to John. And also we will do something that is known as the veneration of the cross. The cross will be brought in, and in the early days, the leftovers of what was left of the cross of Christ was brought out in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And as these people came from the Via Dolorosa, they came and they paid their respects and their devotion to the cross, kissing the cross, touching the cross, laying their forehead on the cross. And we do the same thing here. We bring the cross, we kneel before the cross, and we make our love before the cross. And so I hope that if you're hearing my video and you're in New Canaan today, that you will come at noon or at 7:30 to pay devotion to the cross, or if you're some other place, that you will come and say your prayers. I just want to bring you in here for one quick moment. The church is quiet. It represents our Lord's death. Over in the chapel, you'll see the lights are lit. This is the ending of the vigil, where Jesus has asked us to stay with him and to pray. And the good people of St. Mark's have spent all night here staying up with their Lord, and they will be here right through 11:45 today. An incredibly beautiful, holy, and devout witness to our Lord. The vigil ends at 11:15, and I hope you'll come and pray before the cross of our Lord in the quietness of his tomb.